Melvin's finally made it to $10 million. Well, Melvin, you should What did you buy? Oh, Melvin, you've wasted all of your hard-earned money. If only he knew about the 15 things to never buy in GTA Online. First up, we have boats. And I'm not talking about the Galaxy Super Yacht because we already know not to buy this garbage. I'm talking about these normal boats. And if you're wondering why, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you really used a boat? And I'm talking about just in free mode, so not even like when you're forced to in a mission. Because the only real use I can think of is getting across the Alamo Sea, which realistically is small enough for you to swim across or just fly over. But let's say you wanted to take a boat. Well, you would call Pegasus, select one of your boats, and wait a minute, it spawned on the other side of the sea. This shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I mean, Pegasus spawns are known for being horrendous, but this just proves my point perfectly. There is no point of using boats. Staying on the theme of the water or like the ocean or something like that, we have the Kraken Avisa, which is the submarine inside of your Kasaka. The Avisa costs $1.5 million and is extremely pointless because the Kasaka can be driven itself. So why would you buy a submarine in a submarine? Also, why would you buy a submarine if you could just buy the Toreador, which is one of the best vehicles in the game? Like, sure, it's a lot more expensive, but it's a lot better as well. Okay, moving on to the third thing you should never buy, we have auto shop staff. Now, this is one of the few features in the game which I genuinely think is paid to lose, because the auto shop staff are supposed to take these vehicles from the lifts and deliver them to the customers. But if they damage the vehicle in any way, you lose a bit of money. And let me tell you, these staff can't drive for shit. So every single time you lose money. Now, this wouldn't be a terrible feature if they came with the auto shop, but each of these staff costs just under 400k, which totals up to $770,000. So paying a large amount of money like that so you can lose money on deliveries, which honestly don't even take that long. I mean, I promise these can be done in about less than a minute because you don't even have to drive that far. Next up, we have Hillside Houses, or the stilt houses on Dynasty 8. So we already know that in winter we're getting mansions, and Hillside Houses are a brilliant example of what not to do. Let me explain why. You can't access the garage from the front door like you can in your apartments. And no, before you ask, there's no door that leads straight to your garage. You can't access the balcony at the back, which you can clearly see. I mean, you can't even access the backyard in any way from the inside. I mean, you know, the only sort of redeemable quality is that these houses are relatively cheap, being priced at about 600 to 800k. But something which isn't priced reasonably for what you get is the precision rifle, which costs $450,000 and has no special features despite being called the precision rifle. So in ammunition, you can see the stats of every gun, right? So if you look at the range for this gun and look at the fact that it's in your sniper slot, you would assume that, I don't know, maybe you got a scope with it and you didn't have to use the iron sights that came with the weapon. And honestly, if you thought that was bad, look at the customization that you have with this weapon. All you can do is change the tint. There's no sort of stock, no sort of grip, extended magazine, anything like that. And that's just the bare minimum. There's no scope, for goodness sake. Number 6, we have the CEO safe. I'm sure everybody knows about this one, so I'm going to be quick with it, but you could buy a safe inside of your CEO office which costs $335,000. This is completely cosmetic, even though, you know, there's money on the floor, there's money in the safe. You know, you can't take it, you can't use it. I don't know who thought this would be a good idea, because basically every other new business has a safe which generates passive income, and this one is super different because, I mean, it does nothing. I mean, it's like that one meme where that guy's poking the thingy with a stick and it just does nothing. Another thing which does absolutely nothing for about the price of 300k, we have different arcade games. So when I first bought the arcade, I assumed that buying different games or buying more games would increase the amount of money you make in your safe. Little did I know, all you had to do was fill up every single slot in your arcade with the game that they give you to increase the amount of money you make. And even when you do increase the amount of money, you still don't make a crazy amount. Number 8 is the MC Business Security Upgrades. If you're not planning to live your life as an MC president, then buying the security upgrades is a complete waste of time, because you could just be a CEO president and you don't get raided, as far as I know. I have heard of these like ghost raids where you get raided and you don't even know, but they've never really happened to me, so I can't really comment on them. And honestly, I don't see much of a reason for being an MC president except for the fact that you can spawn any of your bikes, which is a pretty good feature, but then again, just call your mechanic, it's never that deep. Number 9, we have the Arena Workshop. I'm sure you knew this was coming, but I wanted to save it for later on in the list because everybody knows about the arena workshop. I mean, honestly, it is a really cool concept, and it is really cool to have an arena wall car, but you could just buy them online. Now, of course, you can't modify them in any way, but I'm sure they're good enough when you buy them straight off the website. Then again, I don't have one, so I can't really talk too much about it. So we'll move on to number 10, special horns for your cars. Like, if you really think about it, when was the last time you horned your car? So custom horns are really pointless, even though they are really cheap, you know, with the most expensive one being about $90,000. A quick bonus tip: if you have the Toreador, you could add a custom horn on it, but you could never horn because the boost button overrides the horn button. I thought that was a weird little fact. But moving on to number 11, we have the golf carts in the bunker. These cost either $85,000 or $120,000 depending on which version you buy. And let me tell you now, these are extremely slow, much slower than walking. And don't even get me started on the fact that these yellow thingies are here to block your path. I swear these things are only put up in like crowded areas to stop cars from getting in. So why are they in here? Are we expecting cars to plow through all the equipment? At number 12, we have the Avenger, which costs $3.4 million with no upgrades at all. And it costs another $1.4 million to get the mission terminal in here, which honestly isn't worth it because all you get from these are some simple contact missions which don't pay that well. But let's focus on the actual Avenger, because to me, it's just a large, easy to destroy target. I mean, even with its upgrades and stuff, there's a lot of better jets that you can use for dogfighting. Then again, I don't know how good it is at dogfighting because I've never thought, let me pull out my Avenger and go piss on people off. You know, I always fight in my Raiju and it's always done me well. Kind of sticking on theme with the Avenger, we have the facility, which costs between $1.25 million and $5.7 million. And let me be honest, this is only useful for the Doomsday heist and storing vehicles like the Kanjadi tank or the Avenger. Obviously, you can move the Avenger now to your hangar. It's been like this for a long time, so the facility has become kind of obsolete, unless you're one of those losers who uses the orbital cannon to snipe people from the comfort of your underground bunker. At number 14, we have owning too many cars. This one I feel like should be common sense, but it's probably one of the hardest things to do on this list, at least for me it is. So considering you can only drive one car at a time, there's no point in getting so many. So I'd probably recommend getting about 10 cars to fill up, you know, one garage. And the advice of filling up one garage is pretty good, unless you're like me and you have the Eclipse Boulevard garage, which has 50 slots. Yes, I filled up every single one. No, I don't even know half the cars in the garage because I only use like 5 of them max. And I guess the same thing can be said about number 15, having too many planes in your hangar, because I don't even use planes that often. Like, I would much rather use like a fast car than use a plane to get around the map. That might be a hot take, but honestly it's true, because flying a plane from one side of the map to the other is super boring, and it's probably a lot more boring than just driving. You know, at least you have to dodge traffic when you drive. When you fly, you just hold W and stare aimlessly at your screen. Anyways, finally we have buying shark cards. I bought a shark card once on my Xbox back when Cayo Perico came out because I wanted to buy the oppressor, and ever since then I've never looked at myself in the mirror the same. So the video's over, so I'm gonna go look in the mirror even more to see what a despicable loser I am for buying a shark card 6 years ago. Goodbye.